Hi, I'm Sam Thurgan and welcome to my 2-minute parasha. This week's Sidra of Shmot begins with, in a sense, the life and times of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe, once he's grown up, we have a few stories about him. In the first one, he sees the Egyptian beating the Jew, and he saves the Jew, and the next thing, there are these two Jews fighting, and he intervenes. And finally, when he runs away to the land of Midian, he then saves Yitro's daughters from the shepherds who were harassing them. Now, if you think through these three incidents, the one in which he stops a Jewish slave from being killed by the Egyptian taskmaster. The second one in which there are two Jews getting into a violent confrontation that he puts a stop to. And the third one, that he saves some shepherdesses from being harassed at a well. Which one is the most significant? Which is the one that will change his life the most? And I would have thought surely the first one, the one in which he ends up taking the side of the oppressed Jewish people, killing the Egyptian taskmaster, that's really what has the most influence on his life. And it's debatable, but I think really it was the third one with the shepherds and the shepherdesses at the well. In other words, something that seems less significant. What was it? It was a bit of a social tussle. It was a bit of a question. I got you first. No, I got you first. It was a fight in traffic. And he got out there and he resolved the fight in traffic. But from there, he found his wife, he had found his children, he made his partnership with his father-in-law Yitro, which would later on influence the legal system that he set up. I think that was in some ways the most important. The grand gestures obviously had a role, and they all played a part in leading him to where he got to. But sometimes it is the small things that play an even greater part. The Midrash expresses this when the Midrash adds a fourth story to the story of Moshe, that it says that he was taking care of his father's sheep, and then Hashem revealed him at the burning bush. What's the connection between taking care of his father-in-law's sheep and the revelation of the burning bush? Midrash says, because one of the little lambs had run off, and Moshe went to great length running after and finding and taking this lamb and getting it water and carrying it back in his arms. And Hashem said, "Oh, Moshe, you take such good care of those little shepselach, of those little sheep. You can take care of my sheep as well." In other words, it is those small actions, the consistent compassion. If Moshe had not been the kind of person who would have stood up for the right thing in all three situations, he never would have been our leader. But there's no telling which of those will ultimately be seen as the most significant. Shabbat Shalom.